Yo, what up? It's been a little bit. So we've got our wing molds here, and I've actually molded them. So I've been busy just behind the camera. It's pretty boring. So I'll show you where we're at. And in this episode, we're finally going to finish the wing. This episode will not come out without this wing finishing. So.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
All right, after 3 years, it's done. So what started with, it was a photo on Facebook, and no idea has turned into 3 years of, I won't say hell. It's been fun, it's been fucking hard, and I've learned a lot. So I'm gonna go through the story today of how I made my very own aero for the S13 and the pros, the cons. I'm sure you can already probably see the cons. Some people might not like it, some people might love it. I don't know, I think it's Kang. Big fan of the old wang, so let's go through the process right now and I'll show you how I made it. Started out with these rectangle blocks of, it's basically just florist foam, so I'm pretty sure I got it from like Bunnings, and I'll string together some photos and stuff here, so hopefully it all makes sense. So it all started out with these florist foam blocks, and then I hot glue gunned them together and actually used bits of welding wire as well to keep them in kind of a position, and I just started to rough it out. So I was trying to rough out this photo right here. So that photo right there is what I was trying to go for. So it's a JGTC S13 touring car. So there was like no information on it at all. I'm pretty sure originally they used a Tomai wing off an R32. I actually found one not long after my search, and it was like 1,600 bucks. And I was like, I can make a wing, don't worry about it. Like, got some carbon fiber at my shop. I know people who fiberglass, no worries. So 3 years later, I probably should have just bought the wing. Anyway, so I started with the florist foam, going through, I actually sculpted it all out by hand with just basic hand tools, I guess. I used like little bladed hacksaws and like files, like real coarse files, just to file it down and just go for the look that I actually wanted. So after I had the look down, it was then time to try and solidify the look forever. And I thought, what a brilliant idea. I'll go ahead and get some bog. I'll cover the foam in bog, sand that down till it's nice and flat, then I'll be able to mold off that. So that was my brilliant idea. So it basically led to me being too greedy. I spent a lot of time on the orbital sander with 40 grit thinking, no problem, I'll just blow this down, and basically just blew straight through it, straight back to the foam, bog it again, start again. So I don't even know how many hours I spent doing that. It was a lot. Like, I nearly gave up many times, and actually that was kind of where the old channel had updates up until, and I just stopped giving updates because I might spend a whole weekend sanding a wing end and it still looked garbage and I didn't get anywhere. Like, I can't really make content out of that, or at least not to me. It doesn't feel like a big thing. So sanding the bog, I learned not to be too greedy. Eventually I got them flat, just with like a flat sander. I just did them by hand, sanded them out, and then someone told me you cannot mold straight over bog because it's like a fiberglass component to it. So you've actually got to prime it. Well, no, you've actually got to paint it. So I primed mine, gel coat molded them. So I'll show you the molds down here. So these are the molds that I came up with. So these are basically just gel coat, and then you go over the top of the gel coat with like a veil, and then fiberglass over the top of that. So after I primed the wing ends, I then encased them in the gel coat and the fiberglass, went to go pop them apart, and it was all stuck. So I've got some photos here. So I had to chip it out without actually ruining the fiberglass wing ends, or at least the molds that I wanted to get out, which was totally scary because I don't know if behind there, if it's actually any good. So I had to just painstakingly remove every single piece of primer that was stuck, every single bit of foam, to be able to finally lay in the fiberglass that you see here now. So that was challenging. I actually thought the project was entirely over right then and there. Managed to save it. I don't know how. So I had to do that times 2. The other one's down in front of me here. So after I've gone ahead and made 2 pieces right here that are usable, I then have to hand lay in each individual piece the fiberglass and the gel coat, wait for them to go off, trim them down, place them together like that, or as close as I can, and fiberglass a seam on the inside of them. So going up there, strapping and fiberglassing up the inside of them. I'm not sure if I have any photos of that. It wasn't the most fun process in the world, but obviously I seemed to be in okay. After that, it was basically time to try and make the wing center. So I finally made the wing ends. I'm about 1.5 years into it at this point. Everything's just taken forever. So I thought I'd make the wing ends first, got that out of the way, and then I decided I wanted to make the wing itself actually movable. So it is adjustable. I don't really know why. I just thought, you know, we're 30 years later down the track. Everyone has an adjustable wing. Why can't I make mine adjustable? So that added massive volumes of complexity to the project, as if it wasn't already hard enough. So the wing ends themselves actually have a fixed plate on the front side of them. So on this front side right here, it actually has a plate epoxied behind. So before I joined the centers, I actually epoxied a plate in here with, I think it's like 16 mil solid bar. So that goes for, you know, yay long into what would become the wing center. So the solid bar itself is epoxied to a plate on the back side of the wing. So I don't think that's coming out in a hurry. So now that's done, we can actually, on the front side of this wing end, so there's a couple of different sections to this. On the front side, there's another plate of aluminium, so you can actually countersink a hole in that, put a thread into the rail, and after the big round solid bar hole, so you can actually mount the aluminium piece that holds the elevation of the center wing. So that's how that all works. Pretty much everywhere you look, there's something custom, something that took me hours, or I've ruined at least 3 times with a 3D print. So the first wing I made was actually 3D printed. So I 3D printed the whole section, and then I've gone ahead and wrapped it in carbon. So it's the first photos you'll see with it has like a chrome strip at the front of it. That's the first wing. So after I've gone ahead and thrown the wing together, I thought, brilliant, it looks great, let's go sit it outside. So I sat it outside, got some photos. That was amazing. I came back 20 minutes later and the wing folded in half like a pretzel. I don't know why. I don't know if the skinning, like the epoxy just wasn't strong enough to hold it, if it wasn't cured enough. The 3D print just died, twisted, and then it was no more. So I had to come up with another way to do it. So I thought, oh no, I'll 3D print sections of the wing, so then I can lay up the wing itself in these sections, do like I did with the wing ends, match the 2 pairs together, hey presto, I've got a wing. So I'm pretty sure each print took a day, and there were 7+ prints here. So all different colors, shapes, sizes, and it did work. I decided that I was going to actually make a curve in the top, not that you can kind of see it, I didn't sand it the best, to give it strength that way. So I laid this one up, it was still a little bit twisty, so I ended up putting some reinforcement bars in it, just some lightweight aluminium ones. It makes it heavier, honestly. I'm not exactly going for the lightest race car in the world here, so whatever. So I've made up the wing center. I epoxied the wing together itself, and it kind of came out a bit garbage, if I'm honest. I didn't really do the best job. So I thought, I know, I'll put a chevron in the middle of it. I'll do one last wrap all the way around, so it looks good. And that was a learning experience, as if I hadn't already had enough. So I used too much spray tack in the middle. It came out wavy as all heck. It looks like it's bloody the Monash freeway. I don't know if you're international. Terrible road. So anyway, so I sanded all that, got all that done. Now we're starting to get a bit closer to Christmas this year. So we're nearly there. I finally decided in January I was going to make the wing ends. So with some friends' help, we actually went out and made the wing ends out of aluminium. So the wing ends themselves are bonded internally. Oh, I totally forgot. Duh. So I totally forgot that I've actually mounted the wing ends themselves, not these ones, the wing ends themselves to the car. So I welded a section together on the bottom of the wing itself, and there's some ribs that go up the front and up the back. So I was deathly scared someone was gonna pull on the car at some point and rip the wing off, and I was gonna have to kill them or cry. So I epoxied those in, or fiberglass them in, and they weren't actually that strong. So what I ended up doing was I drilled a hole and would countersink an Allen key in there, like an Allen key headed bolt. So it was still sandwiched up against the fiberglass itself while retaining the up down, so the wing itself can't fall over. So there's that. At one point I also tried to forge my own carbon fiber wing ends, because I thought, how was I going to make that happen in a timely manner? So I did actually forge my own carbon fiber wing ends first. So for the center wing, I thought, we're going carbon, let's go carbon. So the first iteration of wing, the one that folded itself in half, was actually made to have these forged carbon fiber wing ends. More 3D printing, more hours wasted, whatever. So I did actually end up making one. It basically ruined the tool instantly. So I would have needed to print another one. Hindsight says that wasn't the biggest issue in the world. I should have just got over it. But anyway, here we are. I ended up making aluminium wing ends with a friend, with help of a couple of friends. So ended up bonding those aluminium wing ends, traced the wing out with some thick aluminium, cut it out, put some epoxy and aluminium welded tabs on the inside of the wing, epoxy them down really good, and slot the wing together. And then I went back across it with some, it's not food coloring, but it's just dye. So dye that dyes the epoxy black. So once again, the wing itself, yeah, it's all right. Like the wing ends are really good. My wrap job is absolutely garbage. The center bit isn't the best, but I'd rather have a wing on the car and actually use the car with the wing that I've been trying to build for 3 years than not. So that's my wing. I'm going to show you guys some snippets up close, some B-rolls, some stuff, and then we'll go to an outro. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully it's been a good video.
Leave it up to me while I be living proof. Leave it up to me while I be living proof. Leave it up to me while I be living proof. Kick the truth to the young black youth, black youth, black youth, black youth.
So thanks heaps for watching, guys. Hopefully it wasn't too boring for you. I know it might not be to everyone's standards, but honestly, I love my little wang. It's pretty good. Overall, I'm just happy to use it after a couple of years of trial and error with the wing. It's finally to a stage where I'm happy to release it and actually go and use it. Probably throw it against the wall, but whatever, I've got all the molds. I can remake the center bit even better. Thanks heaps for watching. Tell your mum to subscribe. I know she's been watching. We'll catch you on the next one.